the 10 to 1 podcast with your host, Brad Ullman, featuring Ben Conowitz and Nate Laux. And here's the podcast.
Oh, hey guys, it's me, Nate.
Oh.
And I'm so happy to be here with you and Ben. Hey buddy, how you been? I've been pretty good.
Nate, you sound like you have a cold.
Yeah, it's really cold down here in Alabama, but I'm recording
Alabama
virtually. Yeah,
I'm
in the family and I'm on vacation.
Wow, what are you doing in Alabama,
Yeah,
buddy?
man, I didn't even know you were going on vacation. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, we've been down here for about 2 days. Yeah, it's been great. You know, just on spring break with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus is football and football is life.
Wow. Nate, weird. Nate's not here. It's
Nate's
just
not here.
Me and Ben. Nate is on a little vacay for a spring break with his familia.
He does deserve it.
He likes to go on trips sometimes, pretty much once a year. And we figured we would let him off the hook this time.
Well, he did say no to us forcibly trying to have him record.
Yeah, we also told him that we were going to fire him.
Yes.
So this is the last episode with and without Nate.
Oh, gee, guys, that's really sad.
No, but Nate did send
Yes.
send a little something.
Go ahead and read that manifesto.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he wanted to read, so I'm going to make sure that I read it in his voice as well too. He did say in the text message to us, "Please read this letter," and then in the message you'll hear what he says. Okay, here we go. Please read this letter in full. My dearest 10 to 1 and go fix yourself podcast listeners and fans. I'm writing to express my deepest apologies for being unable to host the podcast this week, but let's be honest, you're probably listening to this podcast to hear my voice, which Bradford Ullman once lovingly compared to Bobcat Goldthwait, the actor that most experts believe anchored the American classic film Police Academy 2, their first assignment. But alas, okay, that's enough of that.
I was gonna say, I was almost gonna interrupt. Like,
But
you're not gonna do
alas,
the whole thing.
I am on vacation this week with my family in Alabama. Listeners, I need you to put on a brave face and listen as best you can to Brad and Ben get through this episode of Fill in the Blank podcast we host. With you listening, I can afford great vacations and much needed time away from Ben and Brad. Hey. And they fight like a lot. Well, that's yeah. I once even brought them to my therapist, and he said that they seemed, quote, super codependent and, quote, unhealthy, and that I should, quote, distance myself from them, unquote.
I should have read this before.
But alas, this life has chosen me. I like musical theater. Sometimes in my nightly prayers, I ask God to give Ben a bigger heart so that he'll see the brilliance of amazing musicals. God has given us them to enjoy. Why can't Ben enjoy them? Is he irreparably broken, dear Lord? Is this my ministry in this life? Probably. Well, anywho, thank you for your understanding, and I wish you all a fantastic show. And if it's not, I'll be back next week to save my co-hosts from each other. I love you all. Hashtag peace in the Middle East. Plainly, Nate Laux, Esquire. Plainly. No love, no sincerity.
Son of a bitch.
This guy, this fucking guy.
Well,
anyway.
we're hey guys, 10 to 1 podcast.
This is a Saturday Night Live podcast where we review and recap new episodes of Saturday Night Live. We're back with a trio of back-to-back episodes, and this is the first of 3 kicking off April in a big way. April Fools saw Quinta Brunson, star and creator of Abbott Elementary, host the show for the first time. She couldn't have been more excited. And we're going to go through the episode here in just the next, 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I think that maybe less, because without Nate here, it's just going to be us blowing air up each other's ass.
Yeah, we should try to disagree.
Maybe I wonder how we will.
We haven't. Yeah, we just sat down. We haven't even talked about the episode off the air at all.
No.
So I didn't read Brad's review. Shocker.
We typically don't.
Read your review.
No, I mean, well, that, but we also typically don't talk about our opinions beforehand, except for I just could not stop talking about how much I hated the Travis Kelce episode. So
yeah, that's for a whole nother podcast we're going to start calling. What's wrong with Brad?
We're going to do actually a whole podcast season just about how bad that episode was.
No, and the listenership will go up for sure.
Absolutely, the ship will go up like the Titanic.
Speaking of, guys, if you do listen to us on here, you should comment. You should say some stuff. You should tell us what you like, don't like about the show, what you like, don't like about SNL.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this thing, and tell your friends if they like Saturday Night Live, and post around about it somewhere online.
We would really appreciate it. That's all I wanted to sincerely say. Thank you to all of our listeners.
There you go.
And Brad, let's how do we do the show? I don't remember.
I think we start with some games.
No, that's not at all what we do.
No, we're just gonna dig right into it. We're gonna start with the cold open, which is the Trump indictment. And this was a sketch where it's not clear who the writers were for whatever reason. Where we normally get our list of writers, there wasn't actually a list.
Show's already off the rails, Brad.
So
we don't even know who the writers were.
This is the source that Nate sent me, and if it's not there, I don't know who to trust. I don't know where to find the writers for this one. But this was basically their acknowledgement of the fact that Donald Trump was indicted and is going to have to go face the court and maybe some justice. And this really was, I don't know, a weird one. Like, I don't know.
I liked it.
Really?
I didn't mind it. Because I like. So I took it into the context as they've been off for a couple weeks, so they had to shoehorn a lot into of the pop culture stuff.
Sure.
And I'm glad that they did it here and got it out of the way so that we didn't get a bunch of big sketches about stuff that's happened in the past 2 weeks that they've done before. Like so I'm like I know SNL's going to do it. So how bad is this going to be? And James Austin Johnson's Trump is not bad, so I don't mind it.
For me, it wasn't any of the pop culture stuff that was like, it just like was a weird like sketch like premise, like a weird way to frame it, like giving Donald Trump like an album to address like the indictment and bringing in Afro Man because he has new tracks.
It's because he really did record a song, right?
No, I know.
So I get it.
I get it too, but like I don't know.
Why don't you get it then?
It didn't work for me. It felt, I don't know. I like James Austin Johnson's Donald Trump. The one thing that I did laugh at is when he said Jim from Office. That was that was funny.
You did know that Afro Man got busted, right?
Yeah, of course.
They tried to raid him, and there was no weed in the home.
Yeah, and then he wrote 2 songs about that, and now the cops are real mad.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I know that because a friend of the pod, Charlie Young, told me because he follows Afro Man very closely.
I don't know why that's hilarious, but that's like because if it was 2009, sure. But,
well, you got to keep up with your favorites, you know.
And that sounds like a dig on Charlie, and it's not.
It's
at
not.
all.
But yeah, and Kenan Thompson showing up as Don King. Oh, okay.
He didn't even say only in America.
I know.
That was weird. That was the worst part.
I just this just didn't really do anything for me. For me, this was one of the 2 bad sketches of the night. Otherwise, I think that the rest of the episode is actually pretty damn good.
I was fine with it. It wasn't. It didn't shit the bed. I'm just glad that they're not doing Fox and Friends, or they're not doing Judge Janine Pirro or C-SPAN or any of that shit.
I know they had to acknowledge the Trump indictment.
Yeah, of course.
I just wish that they did something a little bit better. But anyway. All right, let's get into the monologue. Quinta Brunson, of course, came out as the host. And she was clearly very genuinely excited to be there. Obviously, everyone dreams of hosting Saturday Night Live typically. For her, it feels like one of those things that rings a little more true because she's not just, an actor. She's been doing sketch comedy for a long time. She went to Second City. And so this is a big thing, especially because only recently has she become like a household name because of, winning Emmys for Abbott Elementary, both as creator and as a writer. And
I will say this out loud. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. She's short.
She is a tiny lady.
She's so, and it's so much more apparent later on.
Oh yeah,
in the monologue, even though she came out, I was like, she's gonna need help down those stairs. She's so short.
She's a small lady. So the monologue written by Mike DeCenzo, Alex English, Jake Nordwin, Kate Peterman, Jordan Temple, and this was a very genuine kind of thing. It was nice to hear her talk about kind of breaking out of the shell of how teachers and people see her because of her character being so earnest and lovable on Abbott Elementary, and I kind of like too because it opened up the floodgates for her to have just a myriad of fun throughout the rest of the night.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she definitely said, "I'm not that character."
Yeah,
and here I'm going to take the next hour and a half and show you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of fun, and honestly, if you watch her, she has a recurring supporting part on History of the World Part 2, and she's funny there, and she gets pretty raunchy in that too. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and of course, I've been thinking. I think that this season is one of the seasons where we have had the most like home videos shown by hosts. I don't remember ever seeing this many. Like
they're leaning in.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so
go ahead.
She showed a video where she was hanging out with President Barack Obama,
right.
And Barack Obama sent like a nice video to her mom, who was actually a teacher in real life, and kind of inspired Abbott Elementary. And so just a real iPhone video of Barack Obama talking to her mom at it looked like a bar maybe or something.
Barack, look, he was great.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see stuff like this. I like when the hosts bring stuff from their real life, whether it's a home video from their family or it's like an old performance or something like that.
We talked about this with the actress Jenna Ortega.
Mhm.
We talked about the high definition video that we're going to start to see more and more with these younger actors that
Yeah.
host the show. Here, cutting back to a commercial I did, and it's from 2017,
Yeah.
shot in 1080p, and you're going, okay, we're just all old now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
But yeah, so a good monologue. I felt like she it was clear she was confident.
Oh yeah.
She was very excited, and they gave me like a good feeling that it was going to be a good episode. We're going to move right on to the first sketch after the monologue, drug dealer. And this is the only other one that we don't have a list of writers for. I don't know why these early sketches in the evening don't have it.
Nate, we miss you.
It's not.
No, I'm blaming you.
It's not my fault.
I'm gonna
I'm
blame
looking
you.
at the same source that Nate has. It's
Yeah, Nate's got people.
It's not here.
He makes calls.
This is a sketch where someone's looking for some drugs.
Cocaine specifically.
Looking for some cocaine, and
how white is it?
a bunch of different drug dealers come out of the woodwork in the bathroom.
This was great.
This was really good. It's a deceptively simple premise where they're basically just doing different variations of the same joke, but they were all so funny, and also just the different looks of the drug dealers, especially seeing Quinta Brunson.
100%. And then you've got freaking Michael Longfellow coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
in an escalation move that I love.
Yeah.
Because it was getting a little stale, and then all of a sudden it was like, black tar heroin's here.
Yeah.
Now go away because you can't do a black joke.
It's so black that oh no, go on. How black is it?
It's so good. Man, clever. Just very clever twist on that premise. Very good, though, yeah. And they were still able to work in a little pop culture stuff because they said, it's whiter than Gwyneth Paltrow skiing in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy that ran into her.
Of course.
And, I was there for it. It was a really, really fun sketch.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one, too. It's just, and it used more cast members than I anticipated. They just kept coming out, and that was so much fun.
So good.
All right, the next sketch. This was a pre-tape, and this is the Bridesmaid cult documentary, and this is parodying various cult documentaries that have been on Netflix and HBO Max, such as Wild Wild Country, the NXIVM cult. I think The Vow was called on HBO, and a lot of different documentaries that have been on streaming services about various cults. Except this one is centered around the idea of someone being a bridesmaid and brides basically just being crazy about how their wedding goes.
This was fine.
This was okay. If anything, I think what I appreciate about this the most is as a pre-tape, they did a really good job of capturing the vibe of these documentaries and the tension that there is, and like how they build up suspense with the talking heads and everything. It felt kind of like, I don't know, an easy target. Like it's a pretty simple thing to make fun of. Be like, oh yeah, we all know brides are crazy about their wedding, and being a bridesmaid, it gets pretty intense when you have a crazy bride.
The funniest stuff. So it's very broad, right?
Yeah.
That's why it didn't necessarily play so well for me. When it got specific about, like, they mentioned Nashville, like it being the city that all bridesmaids, all bridal parties go to.
Yeah.
And it's very true. It's obviously I was in Nashville for a convention, and every bar had 9 bachelorette parties. It was insane.
How many dicks did you see?
7.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Well, that had nothing to do with the brides.
Okay. Good. All right.
No, but I like it when they made specific references. That was good. But the broader stuff, I think Bo and Yang had a good line where he's like, "I was drugged by myself." So that was good. Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah, so that one was written by Jimmy Fowley, Allison Gates, Sierra O'Sullivan, and Will Stevens. So we'll have to take it up with them, I guess.
I think I'm spoiled from the Waffle House pre-tape. I'm expecting all pre-tapes to be fucking poetry.
Yeah, I think it's fine when they have stuff that's a little bit more of a basic parody. It's like it's fine to do a spoof that is quote unquote easy or at least feels easy. But I do wish there was something a little bit different to kind of like shake it up from what you would expect, when you know that it's like I think making fun of bridesmaids and weddings.
Yeah,
so.
it was just a little boring.
Yeah. All right. Couple goals. And this is written by Dan Bulla, Martin Herlihy, John Higgins, Ben Marshall. We got some Please Don't Destroy Boys in there, doing a game show premise. And man, what I love about this one is it goes in a completely unexpected direction, because I can't tell you how many times we have seen a game show premise where it's couples and seeing how well they know each other, doing the newlywed game kind of formula. And you always expect there to be the couple that knows their shit and then the couple that's really bad. I do like. First of all, there's a good layer here of them doing the idea of the bad couple being a couple that met during the coronavirus pandemic, and because they lived across from each other, and now they're married, and they don't really know anything about each other.
Right.
That's a funny, like, contemporary layer. But then the
Dude,
best part of it, oh my gosh,
for some, there would be no reason you're listening to us right now not having seen this.
yeah,
Right. But just in case, like, your significant other is in the car with you or something, maybe just pull over and show them this sketch, because the reveal is utterly incredible. I love it so much.
yeah, and there's two parts of it that are hilarious too, because you have the initial wave of what the funny part of the bit is, which is Kenan Thompson having this
Ultra specific,
deep-rooted fear of his wife falling down the stairs.
Very specific.
Yeah.
And
having to take care of her for the rest of his life.
putting his dreams aside.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
It's so random because you don't have no context. He's being weird.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you get the context because they do a quick cut to Devin Walker and Ego Nwodim in the crowd, and his father is hand feeding with a spoon his wife, who is clearly in a wheelchair and has had the same fate that he doesn't want to see his wife have.
And you know what's great about this guy? You know what they did so well? They didn't belabor that part of it. They just showed
that was it. Yeah,
that's all you get. And normally, I mean, not normally, but sometimes sketch shows, SNL in particular, will like take the new version of the where we're going with this, and now the dad's gonna talk or get up on stage. It's gonna escalate in a weird way like that. This was such a great. There they are, and now back to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it.
And then they have a decent amount of comedy too, going back to Michael Longfellow and Punky Johnson as the terrible couple too. I love the part too where she says, "Oh, maybe we'll just go, with snakes." It's like, no, you fucking idiot! I just told you I don't like snakes.
I don't like snakes.
It was good stuff.
And then Keenan calling it out, right? Or
Yeah.
not Keenan. Is
James Austin Johnson, yeah.
Calling it out. Not probably the smartest move, calling your wife an idiot.
Yeah.
I just loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a great sketch.
It's a great sketch. Yeah.
Great sketch. Great scratch. All right, next we have Traffic Altercation. This was written by Mikey Day, Streeter Seidel, with an assist from Vanessa Jackson, not to be confused with Victoria Jackson, who is crazy these days.
Crazy pants.
Absolutely crazy pants. But yeah, Traffic Altercation. This one was so interesting because
I loved it so much.
it's a live sketch, but they made it feel kind of like a
pre-tape.
pre-tape. The way they shot it and everything was done in a really creative way.
I love the set design. I love the green screen stuff. I
Yeah.
love everything about the sketch. And the fact that they chose to do it live instead of pre-tape, because this is one of those that we should have seen a cut for time pre-tape of this. And we would have all been mad, why wasn't this in the show? So instead of doing it as a pre-tape, they do it as a live sketch, and it totally works.
Yeah, the physical stuff in here is so funny.
Chloe Fineman, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
I lost my shit, man.
I don't really appreciate that you're doing it with two hands. But yeah, it's just the physical comedy here is so good because it's this janky makeshift sign language that we've all done when you're like gesturing to somebody to be like, no, you fucking you
weird. Like you eat
my butt.
You eat my butt.
And I gotta tell you, it's a little thing, but I love that she says my butt and not my ass. Because there's just something about the way she says, eat my butt.
My butt.
It sounds funnier than if she would have said ass.
And also, like, they do say puss.
Yeah.
But they don't say pussy.
Yeah.
They're like, no, my butt puss. Like,
yeah.
It's just.
And then the Mikey Day pointing back at Chloe Fineman when he says bitch.
Bitch. And then she gets him, right? Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Maybe and I think, is this going rom-com style? Nope. Eat my butt. And then the mom pops in.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, all of that.
This was a hilarious sketch.
Yeah.
I love, and I honestly too, for me, it's one that I think that they could easily do again if they wanted to turn it into a recurring thing. Because you can always just change what they say and like what the people who are in the car and do the same basic premise because like it's not something that is like a one and done.
Love to see this again.
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
Oh, what a great sketch!
It would be a lot of fun to see.
So having this back to back from the last sketch, which I took a turn and was amazing. Holy crap. I was like, okay, this is early on in the episode, and this is my favorite one of the season so far. Like, if this continues.
All right, we've arrived at Weekend Update. Ben, do you want to do the honors and introduce the normal part? Because I feel like it's weird if I start talking about my own thing.
It is kind of weird. As all listeners to the podcast understand, Weekend Update is a special time of the show for Brad, where he rips out his broadometer.
Oof, almost got real dirty there.
he rips out his bridometer, and he basically judges silently in the corner. And what he's judging, ladies and gentlemen, is how much do Colin Jost and Michael Che vibe on each other.
Yeah.
And then, Nate and I, we try to guess Brad's bridometer level.
Yeah.
100 being the absolute most it could be, and 0 being they just broke up and it's a cold shoulder situation. I have to say that if this isn't 100, I quit the show. This has to be, from now on, when we do the bridometer, it will be this is the 100, and everything else is based upon this, right?
Yeah.
Like, in my head. Brad, what is the rating?
You're absolutely right. In fact, I would give this one over 100.
So I thought about saying 110. I did.
Yeah.
But then I realized we're doing percentages.
Yeah.
And this is literally as high as it can be. It's full on 100%. This is what all other shows will be gauged upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was fucking perfect.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle of Jost and Che and them having good banter and ribbing each other, and just this was two friends having a blast on Weekend Update. Well, at least Michael Che was having a blast.
One person was having the other one was having an honest to God anxiety attack because he's like, this is the meanest thing you've ever done to me, and it was earnest.
Because you can tell.
Yeah, he was biting. I went back and watched it 4 times.
Yeah,
he's biting the pencil. He's
sweating. He's like, what's going on? Because when you go back and listen to the laughs for Che's stuff are through the fucking roof.
So when you go back and watch it, and so obviously what we're referring to is the fact that Michael Che had told the audience as an April Fool's prank on Colin Jost, don't laugh at his stuff.
Yeah,
and so the laughs are so muffled. The problem is watching it the first time through and not knowing what's coming.
Yeah,
you just think like, oh, the audience isn't really responding.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think of anything of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, they're a light laughing crowd at this time. Then as soon as Michael Che gives one joke, oh, there's the normal and actually heightened.
It's funny though, because it's interesting how much a live audience can make you rethink how funny something is. Because you're listening and you're like, yeah, those are pretty good, but the audience isn't laughing super hard, and you're just like, oh, okay, those are okay. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, there's a reason that a show like Friends had a laugh track.
Yeah. And there's a reason that Colin feels the way he does. It's because he could tell that there was a clear difference between how they were responding to his jokes compared to Michael Che.
Literally said, I thought my mic was off.
Yeah.
Like, that's so good. It's such a good joke, by the way. Like, the playing
and his reaction was so, just so genuine. You can tell that, he really got him.
Oh, yeah. This is the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was absolutely phenomenal.
And it just goes to show you too that no matter
how professional and
how
amazing
professional you are, how big you are, where you can be part of the one of the biggest comedy institutions in the world,
in the history of the world.
Yeah,
and you're married to Scarlett Johansson, and you're a millionaire, and you look like that, and yet
you're sweating bullets because people aren't laughing at your jokes.
I'm bad at my job right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's what comedy does to you.
Yeah.
Man. It's like you want those laughs, and if you don't get them, you feel like shit.
But yeah, I rewatched his delivery of the jokes, and then Michael's first few jokes literally 4 times, and I kept enjoying it over and over again. It was so good. His just nervous mannerisms and the biting of the pencil, I've never seen it before.
Yeah, he
truly was freaking out.
It is great to watch, especially once you finally know the joke.
Yeah. Oh wow. And so speaking of the jokes, they were pretty funny. I mean, there were some good.
I will say I do think that this kind of overshadowed almost everything else.
Oh, of course.
There was no real coming back to a normal Weekend Update after this, because everyone's just watching to see how Colin continues, and even when they start laughing at his jokes, he's like, no, he doesn't. I don't even want it anymore.
Yeah. You don't get to give me this applause anymore.
Let's get back to the regular part of Weekend Update, because we did have a couple appearances at the desk by one character.
Michelangelo's David.
Yes.
Played by Michael Longfellow, who is becoming known as bringing inanimate objects kind of to life at the Weekend Update.
With a very deadpan personality.
This is definitely a shtick that he's doing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm here for it. I still think it's funny. I mean, the scream when he turned his neck was so funny.
Yes, that was a funny part to me. I will say
it went on too long.
Yeah, it went on too long. This one didn't really work quite as well for me as other Michael Longfellow bits of the desk have. It had some amusing stuff. There was something weird. I wish they would have made the crotch stuff look better, because
I got it later on that those were his pubes.
No, of course. That's the idea.
But when they stood up first, or when he stood up first, and you can see the leggings and
yeah, it just doesn't look good when you can see the underwear,
just
the
weird.
pieces on.
It
Yeah,
was
they should have figured out some way to like blend.
They should have just had
blend it
his
in.
cock out.
I would have loved to have seen.
How long that fellow is?
But no, of course.
Hey,
Jesus
come on!
Christ.
Nate is not here to shake his head at me. You need to start shaking your head right now.
I just don't. You can hear my head shaking. Probably. There's this obviously comes from the fact that like the statue has been deemed pornographic because there's
because people are
fucking
idiots.
penis on it and people are assholes. But yeah, so that's where this bit comes from. Yeah, like we said, went on a little too long. I would have preferred that they did something better with the physical bit and the bits. But yeah, it was fine. Just needed some trimming, I think.
No, his marble pubes needed some trimming.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean I
Some
thought
chiseling.
Oh, nice. It was good. It wasn't great. It was good.
Yeah. Then we have Marcelo Hernandez.
Short Kings.
Yeah, returning because he is a tiny fella. I would like to see
him stacked up against Quinta Brunson.
Yeah, because I mean, you do see them together in the drug dealer sketch, and I do think
I never paid attention though.
Yeah, I didn't pay close attention even after this, and I'm thinking about it. I think that maybe he's a little bit taller than.
Oh no,
Quinta
he's
Brunson.
like 5 inches taller. She's
Yeah.
I didn't look it up.
So
but
she
I'm
must
not
be.
joking.
Yeah.
She's like gymnast height.
Yeah.
She's
So
like
if Marcelo
5 foot.
Hernandez is a short king, then Quinta Brunson has to be the tiniest queen. Because I like she looks short against everybody.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this is the one where he's basically talking about being a short king and all that kind of thing. This was one of those bits where like he's kind of doing a little bit of stand up at the Weekend Update desk, which is fine.
This is still funny though.
Yeah, it was funny,
especially because he's looping in Colin Jost, who's already had, I don't know if you know this, kind of a tough night.
Exactly. Like I think that helped make this funnier than it might have otherwise been. Is getting the reaction from Colin when Marcelo Hernandez is talking to him about that.
Well, then let's stand up and go back to back, Colin.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that.
So yeah, it was again pretty good. This was both. I think the guests were overshadowed by the Michael Che prank. On
I
Colin
still
Jost.
thought Marcelo Hernandez's bit was very funny.
It was funny.
And Michael Longfellow stuff. I honestly enjoyed. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy that. I was never bored with it. It got a little long in the tooth,
Yeah.
but again, I liked both performances. Again, it's always going to be overshadowed by the man, let's call it what it is. The first time in a very long time where you saw something completely unscripted and that wasn't going off the rails.
Yeah.
You know, it was Che must have gotten approval, obviously, from Lauren to do this because that's an incredibly
Yeah, if you didn't, I feel like that would be something you would get in trouble for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lauren is, he rules over that show with an iron fist when it comes to improv.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he got approval to do it.
Also, it's what's interesting. This is only the second time that there has been an episode of Saturday Night Live on April Fool's Day.
Really?
Yeah, the last time it happened was when Mel Gibson hosted back in 1989. Otherwise, there's never been an episode that has aired on April Fool's Day.
I mean, I'm sure that there have been April Fool's Day. They were just off on that week, maybe? Or is it just random that it just was never on a Saturday?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is there was never a Saturday that landed on April Fool's before. It was just for as far as Saturday Night Live is concerned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Hey, there you go.
But that's why you guys are listening to this podcast. You want to have tips and tricks.
Well, we have our peaks and we have our valleys. And I'm glad you said that because this sketch, Midwife, written by Jimmy Fowley, Bowen Yang, and Celestium, that didn't really do it for me.
So I will say that I mean, I'm not going to shit on this too much because I enjoyed what they were trying to do. Like, I really did think that somebody had the idea, like, the wig is going to get even longer. We're going to do this time travel stuff. We'll go back and forth back. And it's a clever premise.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No.
But I like the effort.
It felt like the kind of 10-to-1 sketch that usually would kind of fall on its face. And some of it, I feel like the timing was a little bit off. The delivery wasn't great.
The delivery room.
Bowen Yang broke a couple times, which was amusing. But yeah, this one, I don't know. Like, usually when Bowen Yang does a character like this, he can save it in some capacity, even if the sketch isn't all that great. But this one really just felt like a dud to me. I just was not having it.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the more clever stuff was when they actually had the cards where it was 14 years earlier, and then what did it say, like 17 years after 3 years after being 14 years earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I laughed a little bit at that kind of stuff. They were playing with that trope, and I enjoyed it. And I will say the long ass wig was pretty funny, but yeah, other than that, it was kind of a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's I like seeing Bowen Yang do these kinds of characters. I wish
When he does them good, Brad Ullman says, "Do good, Bowen Yang."
I mean, he did do the character good. It's just that the writing of the sketch was probably just.
Oh yeah, who wrote that one? Yeah, we keep forgetting to.
No, I said it.
Did you?
I
Who was
said
it?
I said it at the top of the sketch.
Who was it?
I'm not gonna say it again. I already said it.
Did you? Are you sure?
I 100% did.
Okay, Nate.
The people know.
Sounds good, Nate.
The people listening, they know the story. So we're gonna go to the next sketch, which is Bosses. This was written by Mike DeCenzo, Martin Hurley, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, and Jake Nordwin. Again, got the Please Don't Destroy It boys in there, and they deliver with another hilarious sketch. This one definitely does feel like a 10-to-1 sketch. I didn't know how much I needed to see Sarah Sherman and Quinta Brunson as short, bald men in a sketch like this, because they look hilarious, and just the energy they have looking like these tiny little balding men was on its own hilarious. But then the fact that they're just doing the most exaggerated form of sexual harassment.
It was so. So I'll be honest. It was awkward to watch this with Bailey because
you always try to honk her boobs.
The focus was so much on Chloe Fineman's chest.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't look away literally because they're framing it with their hands and like, oh god,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where I'm like, all right, I mean, I don't need to keep looking at her boobs. Like, it just got weird, and I get it. That's what they were.
Are you
trying to
constantly ogling women that Bailey has to watch where your eyes are when you're looking at the TV? This seems like a personal problem.
I'm saying that because they were drawing the attention so much, it did get. I mean, it was awkward.
But the fact that she noticed means that she's
no,
like
she didn't.
She constantly has to look to see where you're looking.
That's not the point.
Like
of
she's
what
like,
I was saying.
Ben, are you looking at the boobs in
No,
this shot?
no.
Is it every movie you watch you're just immediately zeroing in on the boobs?
No, I was saying that because they. You know what?
Like, I imagine what happens is like you get like binocular vision, like when you see it in a show and the camera's looking through binoculars, but it's just you just staring at all the boobs
With my hands
Yeah.
like that. Yes.
You get real close to the TV and just like put your
Overnight I became a Chloe Fineman fan. Here we go.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
a Scientologist now.
Here we go. Praise Xenu.
Lord Zeno gave her those boobies.
But man, the physical performances by Sarah Sherman
No, it was
and
so
Quinta
funny.
Brunson here were so good.
Quinta Brunson, this was the sketch that I said, oh my God, she's so short. She's so
She
tiny.
does. She somehow looks even tinier in here than she did earlier.
Exactly.
I want to point out a little nitpick.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's just it's a little thing, and it takes you out of
Can we
it.
just start calling them Brad picks?
No, it takes it ever so slightly out of the sketch, and it's Molly Carney is not great at holding the coffee mug and making it seem as if there's actually coffee.
I
in
know.
It. Several times they were
very-
wagging it around
very quick.
and not even that. They weren't even like sipping properly to make it seem like they were actually sipping, but then they would wave it around with gesturing, forgetting that there isn't liquid in it, and you could tell, and it just bugged me. It just bugged me. It's the kind of thing where commit to the bit.
Yeah, no.
You know, if you're gonna hold a coffee mug, make sure it's got coffee in it and act like it's got coffee in it. Don't you fuck me like this.
So I wonder
if they drank all the coffee.
No, I wonder, like, I get it that you don't really want to put water in the cup.
Sure.
But, like, why not a little water? Just a little bit, just to remind you.
Maybe they don't want to electrocute anybody.
See, I don't think that's the thing. Like,
But they do plenty of spilling in other sketches, so
put like a quarter of a cup of water in there.
or just put something solid in it that isn't going to leave the cup.
Yeah,
so that it feels like it has weight to
yeah,
it.
see, there you go. Come on, props department.
Yeah. It's the same thing that happens with any coffee cup in any movie. They're never doing it. There's never any liquid in it or anything like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to start halffullcoffeecups.com.
Half full coffee cups. The Penis Brothers part of the sketch.
What? What? That sounded so combined. Half full coffee. The Penis Brothers part of the sketch.
I just it took such a sudden absurd turn. It was already absurd. I was not expecting it to go to that level.
Yeah, no, this is Sarah Sherman all day long, right? Like this is just her.
It was so funny.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was I didn't know what I was watching sometimes but I was still laughing.
I do think the ending was a little bit rough, but like
wait, how did this one end? I honestly don't
Bowen
remember.
Yang came in and said that they're fired.
Oh yeah, corporate called and you're fired. It's like okay,
it's a little abrupt and like you kind of expect it.
Putting a bow on it pretty quickly. Yeah, I get it.
Pretty simple. Felt like they cut it off a little too soon. I could have used more Penis Brothers. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, Penis Brothers.
Who doesn't love good Penis Brothers? That's it's my second favorite brother-based video game that Nintendo ever did.
It's Super Mario Brothers, followed closely by the Penis Brothers.
No. The first one is the
Penis Brothers.
No, Boobs Brothers. Oh boy! All right. The last sketch of the night was another pre-tape. The Please Don't Destroy Boys back with Street Eats. This was one of their pre-tape sketches, but this one they didn't actually play themselves. They played people who are hosting a faux food documentary called Street Eats that goes around New York, except they're just three white guys who don't really know anything about New York.
Let's see if I can remember their names. Rocco, Donald Trump spelled a different way.
Yeah.
And it was something like Kitty Cat Boy or something like that. Like Tabby Cat?
Yeah, I think you're right. That was all three of them, and they don't want any flavor on their food.
They got Jamaican chicken
Yep.
with no cumin, no cayenne,
Right.
no salt or pepper.
Right.
So you just want some bland-ass chicken.
Yeah.
And that is correct.
And they loved it. They loved it. I will say, my favorite part of the sketch is when they're in the convenience store with the construction workers.
Oh, absolutely.
That was the one that worked for me, because otherwise, I didn't think that this was one of their stronger pre-recorded tapes that they did.
Rice, the thinking man's chips. Will you shut the fuck
Yeah.
up?
So yeah, this one along with the Netflix Bridesmaid documentary one. This one was the only other one that felt like they were doing like a spoof parody kind of thing. And to me, I wonder if maybe that's just not Please Don't Destroy's strong suit when they're doing something that's like a direct spoof or parody.
I really like this one.
I still liked it, but it didn't. But compare it to the other Please Don't Destroy sketches we've seen, over the episodes. This to me wasn't one of their better ones.
Really?
I would put it somewhere in the middle.
See, I really liked it. I think this was better than the Woody Harrelson Hitman one.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
I'm not sure.
You can be wrong.
I'm not sure.
Nate agrees with me.
I think maybe it's because it's the same kind of thing with the Bridesmaids one, where it's a simple idea of making fun of a food documentary and like people not knowing what they're talking about when they're doing it.
But I mean, there was enough of like them yelling and being shut up, and a bodega, like just there was plenty of stuff that I laughed at.
I think that was funny. I'll give you that. But
you can say it. You can change your tune.
Middle tier, Please Don't Destroy for me still.
Top tier.
Middle tier.
Yeah, like 70th percentile for me.
Ooh, no, I'm gonna say like 55 percentile.
Whoa, so low.
Not low, because like even a 40 percentile Please Don't Destroy is better than like.
What's the worst Please Don't Destroy?
Well, I'd have to go back and like remember all of them.
And I don't think any of them are like.
I've never seen one that I've thought was terrible.
Right.
Because they're very funny.
They are very funny.
They're a funny trio.
They are.
All right. So that is the end of the sketches. Ben, I know that you meticulously take time before we record every episode to figure out both your best sketch, your favorite sketch, and your MVP. The latter one, especially one, you take time to like take notes and write down. And
I see screen time reports.
Yeah, you have a Lisa Frank notebook that you keep all of your notes in. It's neon colored.
Who's Lisa Frank?
Lisa Frank. You don't know what Lisa Frank is?
Is that Anne Frank?
No, because that's
a diary.
No, because that's Anne Frank.
Yeah, it's a diary.
Yeah, but this is no Lisa Frank folders.
Oh no, huh?
You don't know what Lisa Frank is?
No.
The gaudy neon folders with like unicorns and rainbows and stuff on them.
I didn't know that it had a title.
It's a brand name.
I didn't know. Okay.
How do you not know what Lisa Frank is?
I've never heard that name in my life.
Are you serious?
I'm being dead serious. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you live through the 90s, man?
Yeah, I had a Trapper Keeper and everything.
Yeah, that's where they put Lisa Frank folders and Trapper Keepers.
I mean, I just thought it was a Trapper Keeper.
It is, but that Trapper Keeper is a separate brand from Lisa Frank. But people would get Lisa Frank folders and notebooks and put them in Trapper Keepers.
I'm sorry that I didn't get like color glittery unicorn stuff and
them,
put it in my Trapper Keeper.
You don't need to get them to understand.
Well, I don't understand why you're so adamant about this.
My Trapper Keeper.
I don't think a lot of people know who Lisa Frank is.
A lot of people know who Lisa Frank is. Okay, guys, if you're out there and you listen to this podcast and you know who Lisa Frank is, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you do, and say, Ben, you're an idiot for not knowing who Lisa Frank is, and tell us the Lisa Frank folders you had.
By the way, no one's going to do this not because it's a bad idea, but because no one knows what Lisa Frank is.
Tell you what, go to our Facebook page. And whatever most recent post there is from the 10 to 1 podcast, go on there and comment, Ben, what the hell's wrong with you? Lisa Frank is my queen, and these are my favorite folders.
Okay, yeah. Good luck.
No.
Hey, and if you've never heard of Lisa Frank, don't comment.
Well, that's not. That doesn't work.
Yeah, then nobody's gonna comment.
That's not. You don't know
I'm
that.
gonna win by default.
My Trapper Keeper looked like a basketball.
We are getting so off track.
Had a
here.
skin.
Nate,
skin around
Nate,
it.
we need you back, buddy. We're off the rails.
Nate, if you get a chance, let us know what your favorite Trapper Keeper was.
And Nate, let us know if you know who Lisa Frank is.
Okay, what was your favorite sketch of the night? You, Lisa Frank.
The car sign language
Yeah.
was the favorite. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite as well.
They pulled it off logistically. I think that helped.
Yeah.
Also, but it was also very, very funny.
I love a good sketch with some physical comedy in it.
That was
This was a good one, and I think it was followed pretty closely by couple goals for me because I really
Really?
like. Yeah, I really
No,
like.
I mean I get it.
I always love when they take a familiar premise and they turn it into something that you
Sure.
don't expect.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to game shows because they have done so many game shows over the years, and it's hard to make it refreshing and like to surprise you. And this one really did. And
So we're in agreement that was the best sketch of the night.
Traffic Altercation was the best
Okay.
sketch, yeah, for sure.
And my MVP is Quinta Brunson.
Yeah, I think actually I agree with you. It takes a lot
It does take a lot.
to want to make
But
the host
everybody
the
start
MVP.
thinking through the sketches and who was in them and what role they played.
Yeah.
And this host was not scenery.
No,
This host was involved in almost every one of the funniest sketches of the night.
there was only one sketch that she was in where she played what was essentially the straight woman, and that was the bad midwife sketch.
Right. Yeah.
And because she
But
was
the
just
car.
she was
her
so
in the
good.
car.
Yeah,
So good.
Yeah.
And the midwife, or sorry, she's in the midwife, but the game show,
the bosses.
the bosses. Oh God, yeah, the penis sketch.
Yeah.
The Penis Brothers.
I guess she was kind of a straight woman in the game show sketch, but she also like there was an incredulous behavior.
Yeah, I mean
to her.
there was enough to it.
Yeah.
It didn't take anything away from her.
Yeah, Keenan was clearly the star of that one. But
Man, very impressive.
yeah,
Very, very impressive.
Have you watched Abbott Elementary?
I actually watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that, again, one of those things, we started it and then
We've established that you're not a big fan of comedy,
I watch things and then I get busy and forget about them. That's honestly what it is.
so you just don't respect comedy.
Okay. So also, speaking of
I'm surprised you didn't have any problems with Abbott Elementary the same way that you do The Office, because there is a bit of that cringy humor because Janine is not necessarily like the most liked because she's a bit of a try hard, even though she's adorable and she is doing the right thing. But there's some cringe stuff in Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, and that's probably why I never circled back.
Okay.
I was trying to be polite.
You're missing out on a lot of comedy.
We have met Janelle James, you and I,
Yes.
in 2013 actually at the Limestone Comedy Festival.
And she's on Abbott
And
Elementary.
she's the principal on Abbott Elementary,
Mhm.
and a phenomenal comedic talent
Yes.
and a lovely person.
Yes.
And we wish her the best because she's going to be an avid listener of this podcast.
Absolutely. I would like I wouldn't mind seeing Janelle James host Saturday Night Live. I wouldn't mind seeing Cheryl Lee Ralph host Saturday Night Live, another great Abbott Elementary cast member. So like
They won't, but it would be nice to see.
I don't know. I mean, they had Cheryl Lee Ralph sing at the Super Bowl, So like I think that she's created like
Anything is possible.
a big enough, persona for herself because of how successful Abbott
What'd you
Elementary
think
is.
of Lil Yachty?
I didn't think that he brought a big enough boat. It was just a little yachty.
It wasn't big Yachty.
No, I didn't watch.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I just I knew that I wasn't gonna. It was gonna be
No,
one
I mean,
that,
and that's not a slam on Lil Yachty. I don't
No.
watch any of the musicals.
I watched some.
I don't.
I've
I
heard
never
Little Yachty stuff before, so like, but I wasn't curious enough to see like what he was gonna perform this time.
I said Bailey, Lil Yachty's performing, and I said, is he the one that does the yaddy 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 yaddy? And then she was like, no,
no,
that's
that's
not
completely
at all.
different. Yeah,
But I thought, oh, it's kind of like his name. So
yeah. Funny enough, that's Big Rowboat who does that one.
Well, that's it for another episode of the 10 to 1.
Hey, what are we doing next week for the 10 to 1 podcast?
Guys, we have an exciting host next week.
What
Nate Laux
is back?
is back, and he's going to keep us on the rails.
No, Molly Shannon
Yes.
is returning to Saturday Night Live.
Holy crap.
It is only the second time she's hosted, and the last time she hosted was all the way back in 2007. So it's been a long time since Molly Shannon has hosted Saturday Night Live. She's made a couple guest appearances here and there, on the show, but it's going to be great to have her back. She's riding a pretty good wave right now. You can see her in A Good Person, which is Zach Braff's new movie that's playing in theaters. And pretty soon, the third season of the comedy series The Other Two is going to be coming back to HBO Max. And she only had a smaller supporting role in the first season, but the second season really leaned into her character's presence and her role in the show. And she's very funny. That's a hilarious show. And that comes from some SNL people as well. So if you haven't seen that, that's available on HBO Max. It's a really funny show. I can't wait to see Molly Shannon back. It's going to be awesome.
We're going to get some Mary Catherine Gallagher for sure.
Will we?
Oh, yeah.
Will we?
It's like her most, and it's not even close. It's her most famous character.
Will
so
we?
you're going to get it.
Will
I'm
we?
sorry, buddy, but
No,
it's
no,
happening.
I think we will too.
Will we?
We?
I would love to see a Sweaty Balls.
I mean,
You're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because it's Alec Baldwin, and he's in a lot of trouble. But it
What about-
would be awesome.
what about Sally O'Malley?
Yeah, see, that's a forgettable character for me.
How is that forgettable?
I'm 50.
She's 50.
Because she
now
really,
she's probably
she really is.
It would be great if she was like, I'm 90. And she dies.
Molly Shannon is 50.
Let's look at
Oh
that.
man, I don't know how old she is. So maybe they will do now. Okay, now that is funny if they can come up with a way to make her real age and the
What if she just comes out and she's like, yeah, I'm 50.
Yeah, my name is Molly Shannon.
So
and
she was
I'm
she was born
50.
in 64. So let's do our math. She'll be 60 next year.
Yeah.
So she's 59.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Hey, fun story. I went to there's a bookstore I like to go to called Second and Charles.
You don't know how to read.
I don't, but I like to go to bookstores. And I found a signed first edition copy, not as if this is an old book, but like they always make a point to say like it's the first edition of it, of Molly Shannon's memoir, Hello Molly, and it was signed by her, which was pretty cool. Found it in a bookstore.
I do this thing where I go to used bookstores and I just sign the author's name in the books. And so I hope that you just found my signature.
That explains the Huckleberry Finn I found that was
Yeah.
signed at only $15.
Yeah, and I cited as Mark Twain because I couldn't remember Samuel Clemens at the time.
That was funny because it said it looks like it said Macklemore. So I think you're just bad at signing.
Nate, we miss you. I can't wait for you to have the reins in your hands again. The show sucks without you, and we miss you, buddy.
I don't know if it sucks.
It's pretty terrible.
I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe you just spent too much time focusing on boobies.
Okay, listen. Chloe Feynman has a set. No, just.
Oh, whoa, gross.
Well, the Penis Brothers they influenced me.
I guess you can't deny that the
Ooga.
Penis Brothers have.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook page and our website as well. You can find our podcast there. And just tell us how much you like it, how much Ben needs to look into Lisa Frank and understand how cool these folders were back in the 90s. I think Lisa Frank is even still around. I think she still makes cool, radical shit.
Cool, radical shit.
Yeah.
I would also like to apologize if I did come off as misogynistic talking about Chloe Feynman. I did not. I was doing a bit, and I hope you can forgive me.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, really brought the room down.
Well,
So-
listen, I don't want to get in trouble because I was trying to have fun with it, and then it turned like I know that you're objectifying a woman. Don't do that.
You're
It's
making
awkward.
we're making it worse.
Yeah,
now.
well, I feel bad. I feel awkward now.
Aooooh!
Oh no!
Be good to yourself, be good to others, and we'll be back next week.